sir. That was me, Beach Bum and Dad, live in Florida. It's a little cold. We're gonna do a little micro shelling, and I'm getting a little older, so I was looking over my glasses. You may think it's beautiful, and it is, but I have my layers on. So let's walk on over here. I've been shelling for a little bit, driving, looking, walking, looking, and I came across only one spot where we can micro shell. We're almost there. So I had to pick up my backpack and move. So as people come in, good morning to you. We are cold in Florida. The heat is on, but we're going to be micro shelling here. Well, hello. Hello in Kentucky. All right. So let me set my glasses down. If you popped in right away when I went live, I was looking at the camera, doing the grandpa thing, looking over my glasses, and I was like, wait a minute, I gotta turn this around. So we are live in Florida. Real feel is 39 degrees, and we're gonna be micro shelling. So we're looking for the keyhole, and I did see one sand dollar when I walked over. So let me turn a little bit. I saw this, I don't know, a little while ago, and I wanted it to dry out. I'm still gonna get wet, but let's look for some micro shells. Okay. There's a teeny tiny little shark eye. Set that down on the right. And the other day, I got down to, I remember, I'm crawling around. Y'all are sitting here enjoying, probably have the heat on blankets. Oh, look at, there's a tusk shell. And here's a sand dollar dove. So I'm gonna be wet pretty soon. So back to the story. The other day, we went live for about, well, here's another tusk shell. Let's see if I can get it without backing up. I think I got it. No. Oh, there it is. So that's a tusk shell. And hopefully we can find a big one this morning. And then you can really see why they're called tusk shells. Let me turn. Oh, here we go. Nice. All right, let me finish my story. So I got battery power today, because the other day we went over 2 hours, and I said, I think I'm getting pretty low. Look at. Now that is a trophy tusk right there. That is a dandy. All right, so let me set that over here. So here I have my power supply tucked up under my armpit, the camera in one hand, crawling around, trying to stay warm. Okay, what's this? And my knees are getting wet. Let me bring that up. Well, that's interesting. That looks like a milk moon snail, but that's pretty big. For those of you that are just jumping on the live stream, I am Beach Bum and Dad, and periodically, this week will be twice. Here's another tusk shell. See that? It's pretty awesome. I will go live when the stars are aligned and when I find a spot. And I haven't seen a micro spot like this in a couple days. Let's turn a little bit. So I thought everyone's probably staying warm. Wow, this is a really good one. I mean, I see doves, lots of tusk shells. I don't see a dwarf olive yet. So where are you checking in from? Let me check here. You say it, Zer? When I've gone live, we've had people from all over the place. Pretty awesome. And in case you're new, I am Beach Mama Dad. I shell all throughout Florida. And today, we're micro shell. Here we go. Here's a little sand dollar. Let me turn. Right there. Teeny tiny little sand dollar. Let me get a little closer here because I want to look down. There went my power supply again. I think I'm going to unplug it. Sorry about the bouncing there. Alright, that sand dollar's not going to move. Let me back up a little bit. Power supply is just getting in the way. Alright, let's get back down here. There are lots and lots of tusks in here. Wow. This is the best I've seen in a couple weeks. And I think usually when you see something kind of opaque, that's a little, let me see if I can get it in my hand without it blowing away. Well, maybe not. It looked like a shark eye operculum. Good morning there, TT. We are micro shelling, and yes, I am collecting sand dollars and seashells. I know, if you were just here, there was that one I passed up. Oh, here we go. It's right over here. There's a little sand dollar and a sand dollar dove. Or in other words, a sand dollar tooth, not a shark eye. All right, so I'm a grandpa. I got to stretch a little bit. Well, hello there, John. I haven't seen you in a while. Real feel right now is 39. Heard on the radio 29 earlier. I think that was maybe Crestview. Not here. And it was getting kind of warm. I'd been walking a few miles and the sun popped a little bit, but the clouds are rolling in. All right, we see lots of micros here. All right, so we have a question in the chat. What is microshelling? So see all this? These are, oh, here we go. These are microshells. There's a lightning walk. Put that over on the right. Anytime you see anything like this, just think microshells. Look at this little scallop. And see, looking on my hand here, sand and some crumbs, microshells. Here's another, let me turn. All right, where'd it go? Sand dollar dove. If you're just checking the live stream, let us know where you're watching from. I'm Beach Bum and Dad, and I shell all across Florida. And I often say, when the stars are aligned, I like to go live. Because we get interaction from people all over the place. There's another sand dollar dove. Yes, tiny shells. Teeny tiny shells. Like that one. That's a tusk shell. So let me look around. There's another one. Oh, look at out there. Back up right about. There's a lettered olive. Let me. Okay. That's a lettered olive. Not necessarily a micro shell, but definitely a smaller olive. So let me back up a little bit. Set these down. So a question in the chat, what do I... Oh, I'm looking. There's a teeny tiny little Merrick's. What do we do with the shells? So the other day, all right, let me start here. We have a, if I can turn, show you this tusk. We have an Etsy store just full of candles and all kinds of crafts. And the other day, my wife started a new project, and she looked at me, she said, how come I don't have any teeny tiny little shells? And I was like, well, you gotta kind of order those. So she gives me shopping lists, and if I'm able to find a spot like this, I'll bring her home some. So I don't want to, like, you know, walk through this and dig around yet, but there's a little coral frag. But in a little bit, I'll probably, you know, get a handful of these crumbs and these shells, and then we can sort them out back at the craft table. Quite a few of the sand dollar doves today. All right, so I'm gonna get a little closer. And the one thing, so when I'm micro shelling, I look for 2 shells in particular, I guess 3. Number 3 would be the dwarf olive, and I haven't seen one yet. The tusk shell, I love finding tusk shells, and Wentel traps. Now I found a Wentel trap, well, I don't know, a week or 2 ago, but it sure be nice to find another one. Oh, look at out here. Y'all probably already saw that. All right, let me get up. There's a sand dollar. And if you're new here, when I say looking for the keyhole, right there at the tip of my thumb, that's a keyhole. A lot of people, when they're shelling, they're looking for, like, this scallop. You know, something right on top. Now that one's obvious, right there on top. But what if, you know, you were looking for scallops, and I'm always looking for scallops. It was, oh, look at that, right to the left. I caught that through the camera. Got it. That's a tusk shell. So let me turn. So anyway, if that was covered up, but you knew colors, shapes, general sizes, you might be walking, you know, slowly walking along, see it, go, wait a minute, let me check. Calico scallop. So I have gone live on weekends and weekdays, and it seems like we're doing pretty good so far. 15 minutes in, and we're knocking on 50 people. Look at that color popping. That little scallop. It's a pretty little one. Rusty red. Let's try out in the middle. All right, so the camera is to my right, and I'm looking left. And since this is live, if you do see something interesting, when I come back to the camera, I can see in the chat if someone saw a tusk shell or a sand dollar. All right, let me turn a little bit, because someone mentioned something about teeth, and I want to show you something. Sorry about the bump. See, those aren't shark teeth. Those are sand dollar doves, And there were two of them there. I don't know where that small one went. Somewhere in there. Oh, what's this? Wow. Let me turn. There's a cone right over there. Alright, so let me set these down. Crawl over a little bit. Actually, that cone's big enough. It's gonna run away. So someone said, can I pick up another shell? This one's a slipper snail. That's normally what you see. Sometimes they're upside down. And if you look, it looks like a little slipper. Something you could put your foot in. See that? Alright, so here's the cone. Looks like a little Florida cone. A little bit worn. I'm looking behind the camera and I see orange. I see tusk shells. I see... Wow, there are so many tusks. They're like all over. Oh, here's a little slipper snail, a teeny tiny one. I can't really tell, but it looks like it might be a spotted slipper snail. It's gonna blow away. It is quite windy. I'm guessing in a little bit I'll probably just lay down right on the beach. And I often wonder, now it's quite cool, it's the Panhandle, it's winter, there aren't, there's like no one around. I had one person come by running and two others walking, and they weren't shelling, but they see me lying down talking to myself, what in the world is he doing? So let me back up. I would say this is probably 20 feet. Yeah, about 15-20 feet. And although I kind of started right in the middle, I guess that's because I put my backpack there. What you should do is, break it up into sections. So, like I said, it's about 20 feet long. You could start on this side, get up close and personal, look for some shells. Look at here. A little bit bigger tusk. And then move down. And if you want, you can turn around and go on the Gulf side. Right now, my back is to the dunes. I thought that was, there's a little wormy. Let's see if I can get that. Ola ageless, soon to be Florida resident. For those that just are checking in, I'm Beach Mom and Dad, and we are live streaming from Florida, micro shelling. Let's get a little closer here. So in the, that is a piece of a shell. That's weird. So when you are micro shelling, and if you've never tried it, the first time I came down here and looked, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. All the different shells. I don't know all of them, but my favorites, I mentioned a few moments ago, the tusk shell, the teeny tiny little sand dollar. I was looking here. There are lots of tusks. There's one. There's one. There's one. Sand dollar dove. Wennel traps. But those, the Wennel traps, they're they're few and far between. I haven't seen, I mean, you could spend, like I said, the other day we went just over 2 hours, but that was shelling rack lights, normal beach shelling. You could easily spend a couple hours in here and, you know, not find a Wennel trap. Sometimes they're, oh no, what is that? Oh, it's broken. Sometimes they're right on top. The few that I found, I mean, down south it's a lot different. You would be finding Wennel traps if you were crawling around like this left and right. But up here, usually I find a couple of winter. One, you got to find a spot like this with some crumbs, and two, they have to be present. Lots of tusks. Found that big one. It was right below us. We kind of need to find another one. That one looks like a spotted slipper snail. I'm looking. Alright, let me back up and stretch. Now there's a good question. That doesn't come up too often. Do you find shells with your family? Well, I think there's consensus that I'm obsessive, and when I walk 5 to 10 miles, most everyone in the family is like, yeah, we're not going that far. And then they find out it's in the 20s or 30s, or most Floridians, someone just walked past, they don't go to the beach when it's under 70. So everyone is at home right now with the furnace a-blaring, and they probably all have the blankets on with their sweatpants on. Let's check over here. And I don't have my glasses on. Early on when I introduced myself, I was looking over my glasses at the screen so I could set everything up when I hit live, and then I flipped the camera around. So I have to get up close and personal. Okay, here. Oh. Alright, let me mark it right here. I'm not sure what that is. Right there at the tip of my pointer finger. Ageless, I have a question. If you're still here, did the live stream just go out? Or anyone could let me know. Sometimes that happens when you're on the beach. But look at that. I think that's a little Wennel trap. Oh. All right, thank you. Thank you so much for that. A little Wennel trap. Oh boy. All right, so I have a question I want to answer, and I don't have a baggie in my pocket. How do I transport these small shells, including sand dollars, in a Ziploc baggie, and I don't have one in my pocket? So let me turn a little bit. So that's a question I know a lot of people ask. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to lose that. The life of a micro sheller. And look at that. A tusk shell. So see those kind of yellowish brown circles? I know some people really like those. I'm not sure if it's a Shiva, S-H-I-V-A, Shiva or Shiva shell, but I know a lot of people like those. Let's see if we can get that tusk in the bag. Well, maybe not. All right, so craziest thing found on the beach. I would say I have two, and they're equal. I mean, they both have pretty interesting stories. So the one was, oh, look at here. Look at here. See that? Looking for the keyhole. Oh, yes. A whole other universe. And, you know, crawling back and forth. See that? Little sand dollar. So I don't know who that was. Basically, I am the collector, the scientist, the videographer, the editor, and the safety QC guy. So we've been like crawling around here, and you miss things. All right, let me set that down. Y'all can get up and stretch a minute. All right, so the one was on the Atlantic coast, St. Augustine. I found a coin from an urn, and it was from New Jersey. Don't know if someone had spread the ashes in Florida and the coin washed up, you know, it was the same week, month, whatever, or it had actually come all the way down from New Jersey. The second one has a very in-depth story. I'm trying to remember, they're called, I'm thinking here, memorial bracelets. It was pretty rough one day, and I found this bracelet, and it had, I don't know, half a dozen or 8 Marines on it. Full name, rank, and I shared it with a friend who was retired military, and I'm not sure if it's called the Congressional Record. I know what that is, but she looked up their names, and you could read their stories. So because the Florida Panhandle has just lots of military, active, retired, someone from Pensacola, I don't know if they reached out to me or I reached out to them, but the wife, okay, what's this down here? It was either the wife or the mom. I'm looking to the left. Lots of tusks over here. And I want to find one of the world record. Oh, here's a little cone. Let me back up so I can grab it. Let me turn. A little dusky cone. My knees and my elbows are going to be soaked. Anyway, I asked if she wanted the bracelet back, and she said no, it was mine to keep. I was just floored. So those are the unique items I found other than seashells Sometimes after a hurricane, there'll be a sailboat or something wash up. So other than seashells, I guess up here in the Panhandle, every once in a while you'll find a coconut. So if there's someone new here, why don't you let us know where you're viewing from. I am Beach Bum and Dad. We are micro shelling, and I am looking for, ooh, I don't want to break it, tiny sand dollars, tusk shells, and that's a trophy tusk there, and other items. So let's get close again. And always when I'm shelling, I go back and forth, not just, walk in a linear path. But when you find a spot like this, basically we are back to where I started. And we have yet to get the other, 15 feet the other direction. I put some sand down on my bag. All right, let me stretch a little bit. Florida winter on the beach. Right when I was setting up the live stream, I checked, it was real feel 39. So how about, I'll give you a little treat here. I know the thumbnail says micro shelling live, but let me show you where I am. So that's the micro shelling spot. Go down a little bit. I have driven to several sites today. Basically, that's something that everyone should do, is you check several areas. Don't just look for a so-called spot. I know a lot of people will tell you go to, let's say, ABC 123 access point, are going to be shells there. Well, on some particular day they probably were, and I have, like I said, I've driven all over, walked the beach, walked miles, and I found this spot. Oh, look at that! Ah! Now you can tell that's been sitting there. And if you haven't seen my videos, I have a friend who always says, BBD, you didn't say it. Sand dollar make you holla. Okay, I know why there's wind. Because I turned instead of having my back. So let me back up and show you this spot. I'm blocking the wind. I'm assuming ageless, it was a lot better when I was micro shelling. But look at this rack line. Let me walk backwards. I think I'm blocking the wind now. This is where I was shelling earlier. Made quite a few videos here. For those of you that are new to my channel, in the last couple weeks, one in particular, someone posted a comment on a video. All right, thanks for that. Hopefully this grandpa can remember to keep the wind blocked. A subscriber had asked about my publishing schedule. So basically, every day I will upload 2 to 3 short form videos from Sand Dollar Sunday, which is today. So I focus on Sand Dollar type of videos, Sand Dollar Sunday, and then throughout, what is this? I thought I dropped that on my pocket. We'll pick that up. To a variety of short form videos throughout the week, and then one long form video, which like I said when I introduced myself early, when the stars are aligned, I'll go live. So last week I had about a 2 hour and 2 hour and 5 minute, 2 hour and 10 minute live stream. Well, that was a lot of work. That trumped having a long form video. But I do have one edited and it's ready to go for this coming week. Well, good morning, Wishing on a Shell. Thank you so much for coming along. I was just saying how there's a nope, that one's broken. But we use those in our crafts, calico scallop. How my schedule entails vertical videos every day, one long form, and then live streams whenever I can go live. All right, so ageless Andy backwards. Like I said, I only found this spot, and I've been shelling here for hours. This is the only one. Nothing anywhere else. And when you shell a spot like this, I know I'm live streaming and I wanted to share it with you, but I would have come up here no matter what, because even though, and you can see my footy prints, even though I've been going back and forth, and I have tried to, you can see that shell line, I walked in between, and then that shell line, and I walked in between. I tried not to walk through or on top of the shells, because then you're just kicking them and covering them up with sand. Just like here, if I back up, this is the high rack line, and this might even be historical. I don't know if I guess the water did come up this high. When it's windy like this, you sometimes can't tell because they get all dusted over. But I'm looking here through these chunks. You never know what you might find. A few moments ago, I had talked about learning not just the whole shells, but pieces. That's an aperture of a Scotch bonnet. So if it was buried and you saw the lip or something like that, you'd be like, oh, gotta go check. You never know. So close. Okay, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to go back down to the micro shell spot. Well, I didn't even know we were that far away. Alright, so you look for dolphins, and I'll walk on over here. Always looking for just one more. Calico scallop. I can feel that wind hitting the microphone. And if I keep you on the horizon, I can walk a little bit faster. Oh, here's a nice one. I reach down. Look at that pretty scallop. I know they're common, and a lot of people walk past. I think they're pretty awesome, and we use a lot of them in our Etsy crafts. There's another one. Oh, look at this. Wow. Look at that. Huh. A nutmeg. That is pretty awesome. Wow. You know, that's the thing. When you don't have glasses on, it's like, what is that? What is that? Here are a couple augers. Let me check. Oh, no one's home in that one. The local name is Common Auger. And you can see there aren't a ton of them. My wife calls them spirals. So when she wants me to go shell shopping, she's like, make sure you bring home some spirals. At first I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. but now I do. And when she says that, I'm like, all right, I'll see if I can find them. Usually you can find a few. I'd say today I only have about a half a dozen. I still can't, let me show you that nutmeg again. I still can't believe that. Especially, you know, that we walked past it. What a surprise. Alright, step over my backpack. Let me check how much battery we have. Alright, we're doing pretty good. Well, thank you, TT. I'm glad that YouTube showed it to you today. Oh, is this a tusk? Let me see. Oh, nice. Look at that one. That's a big old tusk. It's another one. Wait a minute. It's a bone. The fun you have live streaming. Alright, let's get back down here and do some work. Actually, I don't have my tweezers with me today, so maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Maybe we can use it to help us look for shells. I'm gonna look for a teeny tiny sand dollar. Okay, here's another spotted slipper snail. And I don't really key in on those around here. Wow. I guess when you're micro shelling, you can find them in Southwest Florida. They're a lot bigger. So then I like to collect them down there. But I'm looking for the keyhole because I want to show you. Okay, I think I found it. I'm going to focus. It's right. I don't know if you can see it. Kind of awkward here. Let me turn. I don't know where it went. I think. No, that might not be it. Nope. Find a teeny tiny little sand dollar because they're pretty awesome. Little coral frag. I'm looking left. I have to be careful because if I get out too far, that is. I saw something like rusty brown of this. I have no idea what that is, but that is a new shell. Look at that. Let me see if I can get you a little closer. I'll zoom in. If we have someone who loves crawling around on the beach microshelling, and you know what that is, let me know. Got a little covered. Let's see if I can pick it up. I am not sure, but that's it right there. Let me zoom out a little bit. Alright, so the question, what is a tusk? It's another mollusk. Just like the lettered olive, the cone, scallop, or point right here. Speaking of olives, that's a broken one right there. At Seraph, it's another shell. Filter feeder, they don't get very big. Like I said earlier, when I find a spot like this, I come and look for tusk shells. Oh, there we go. There's a sand dollar. Right there. That is, I always call them, and I find quite a few, and even smaller. This week has been phenomenal for sand dollars. Oh boy, I hope the surf. I wonder if the surf's coming in. Maybe that's why we found that nutmeg. It has been phenomenal, the number of sand dollars like this I found this week. I mean, some, see that little piece next to it? Like that size. And they were so hard to pick up. But that, let's see. Got it. Guinness Book of... Oh! But it blew in my hand. That is pretty cool. Guinness Book of World Record. World's teeny tiniest little sand dollars. Look at that. Let's see what I collected on my hand. Right there on my palm. Alright, there's nothing. Now, this is the trick. Getting that in the bag. Alright. Let me set y'all down. Don't leave. Put this one in the bag. Look at that. Well, that's that same one. Talked about unique finds. Look at that. You can see that tusk from over here. It's a broken one. Unique finds, experiences. Talked about the Etsy shop. Well, TT, like I said, it's been pretty phenomenal this week. Grab this piece here and look. So when you're looking for the teeny tiny sand dollars, I mean the bigger ones, sometimes they do pop. Oh, someone's over there shelling that spot. See that star? Look for the star. You can look for the edge, but you're always looking for the keyhole. Let me grab one over here. That's the keyhole right there. Sometimes they're on top, sometimes they're covered up. And this winter, it's been pretty good for sand dollars. Sometimes they're covered in sand and you only see that keyhole. And I have several videos on tips for looking for sand dollars, looking for the keyhole, having a little bit of fun, you know, quizzes and tests where I'll hold up a sand down and say, all right, I just saw something, study, and then I have the viewer look. All right, so let me get a little closer. Left. See someone walking by, so I had to check. The wind's picking up a little bit. So I'm not sure. My screen probably looks different, but, and thanks Ageless for pointing that out. I don't know if it's like right here. I can see up here how many people are viewing, but the ways, different ways you can support the channel You give it a thumbs up right now. YouTube knows that people are watching and they'll share with other like-minded individuals. Oh, there's a tusk down there. Of course, subscribe. I literally have, I don't think I'm at 2,500 videos yet, but I know it's over 2 grand. And I have affiliate links for books and shelling tools. And of course, during the live stream, you can give a super chat. So that's all appreciated. Okay, I'm looking left. And I don't know what y'all are seeing, but you can let me know. I wanted to see if I could find another sand dollar. Or a tusk. No, I don't know what that was. That was a chicken bone or what? That one. Alright, I see we have TT with a question. A rare find. Alright, so I'm going to give you a general answer and then a specific. Oh, wait, here is a pretty nice tusk. Let me turn. Sorry if I think I bumped that. There's one. Let me back up so I can put that over here. Most will agree that, and there are literally thousands and thousands of people that come to Florida to shell and look for the Junonia shell. Now, the reason it's considered rare is it's a deep water species, and especially in the Panhandle, they don't wash up too often. But if you head to Southwest Florida, a little bit more common, not anything like an olive or a sand dollar where you're going to find them. Literally, I've done a little bit of math, and it's like even in popular areas, but with the competition, you have I don't know, I'd have to go back and look, 0.000 something chance of finding one during a week's vacation. But if you time your visits right, and maybe you go after a wind event and you shell a lot, like a couple weeks all day, that will greatly increase your chances of finding one. So for instance, one time, I guess that would be 2 years ago, and there's a tusk, 22. Hurricane Ian devastated the Sanibel area, but with most storms, including tornadoes, it's not like, the whole state. I went shelling in Southwest Florida, in Naples, and specifically Marco. I mean, they had like a little bit of flooding, a little bit of wind damage. But when the boats were allowed to go out after the surge, there were 4 of us in one area, and we found 3 Junonias. So generally considered rare, especially if you're shelling on calm days in the middle of the summer. There hasn't been a wind event. But I've seen as many as, one group had 11. It was like this. They had, I think it was 4 people, all their hands out, and they had 11 Junonias from a morning's shelling. Now, rarer are the damaged shells, albino shells. Here's a little Seraph, nobody's home. Alright, let's move down here. So when you find a corded olive, which is just oh, look at this. That's I think, a flat slipper snail. Look at that. Those are pretty cool. I think the correct name is Atlantic white slipper snail. flat slipper snail. Didn't know they existed till I found one and then had to go to a shell guide and look it up. Let's go down here. I've knelt to about right here. Let's see what we can find in here. So we are knocking on an hour. And if you have friends that are missing the beach, now I know I said it was cold here, which it is for Florida, real feel in the 30s. But if you're in the Midwest and you're missing the beach, you can call up your friend or share the link. Share the live stream with a friend. Oh, here we go. A milk moon snail. Now that is, I don't know if you want to say rare. People don't find them. That is pretty, yeah, that is really awesome. I don't want it to, let me get it in my palm so it doesn't blow. That's a milk moon snail. Think of it as a white shark eye. So it looks like we have someone new here. Full-time Nana of 3. Well, I'll say congrats on that. Grandchildren are pretty awesome. So, micro shelling. Let me back up. I don't know if you're just checking in or you've been here the whole time. See this spot? I'll even stand. This grandpa needs to stand once in a while. So see that? You can tell it looks like a lot of broken shells. Most people, 9.9 times out of 10, will walk by. But when you get down here, and you're willing to get a little wet, especially when it's cold. Let me show you. Those are my winter water boots. And look, get down here, and the shelling is just amazing. You can find a milk moon snail. I have a different one, a little bit larger. Oh, full time, if you saw, and I don't know how this showed up in your feed, if it was just automatically live, but the thumbnail I created, I don't know, I took the photo, I think I was down there looking this way, and that's what I'm doing. I lie down, people come by. Is he okay? He's talking to someone. Is he dead? And that's how I have to see him. And good morning, Tom. I'm sure it's a little bit warmer in the Marco area, but I can't even wear cheaters. I just have to get really close and look around. I like that. Retired and inspired. I know when I see your videos pop up, kind of reporting what's going on in Southwest Florida, I see them as saved. So I don't think I've seen any of your titles that. Oh, nice. All right, we got to focus here. Let me turn. Sorry if that was a little too fast. Here's a dwarf olive right at the tip of my finger. I haven't seen any live streams, Tom, if you have done them, pop up. But if you're inspired to do one, make sure you have good connectivity. I've done them in the 10,000 Islands in Sanibel, and sometimes they go in and out, or people say it's pixelated. Well, that's what happens when you're out in nature and grab that live streaming. This is my office, and I don't even know if I got that. And sometimes it can get windy, cold, and no connectivity. I think, okay. Yep, I think we got it in there. that's pretty good. That's another, I've mentioned several times, that's another one of the common shells. But this little shell bed, if you will, lots of tusks in here. So let me set this down. Well, that's how I collect microshells. Sometimes I do have little vials. I didn't bring one today. I should always have one with me. I do have a brush with me. Let me set this down. Meaning the camera. Let's see if I can get it to not tip over. And not have it go away. So I have a little microshelling kit. I actually have it worth all of it in the bag. Tweezers, a little brush, and some vials. And also some baggies. And I was finding those teeny tiny world's record sand dollars. They stuck to the side. Oh, here's another milkweed snail. There we go. We got two. Oh, there's an olive out there. That's not. I don't know what this is. Alright, where did that olive go? Oh, here we go. Alright, so there's an olive. And let me see. Tusk shell. There are these ones that look like snowflakes. I have no idea what they are. This much before, but it's going pretty good. Alright, let me get all these tusk shells. See if they'll fall in my hand. If you're still in there, I don't know about the inspired part, but yeah, lots of sand in the hair at the moment. Oh, here's a nice tusk shell. Here's one. I know you can't see it, but I'll show it to you in a moment. Here's a seraph. Let me see. There's a dwarf olive. Some tusks. Stuff I don't know what it is. A few years ago when I started microshelling, I found a researcher and I thought I should just call Dr. So-and-so and say, hey, you know what these are? There's a tusk shell. I'm really getting wet. And I always advise don't have your back to the Gulf because you'll get soaked. Fortunately, that hasn't been the case with me at the moment. I'm already quite wet, but okay. Let me grab these and then I'll come around and show you what I found. So if TT's still here, and you're talking about unique finds, And I had mentioned about damaged shells. See that? How it repaired itself? So no, I've never used a magnifying glass. I think there is one in my kit. Right, let me see if I can do this without it blowing away. So right there by my band, that's a milk moon snail, lettered olive. Right there is sand dollar dove, and then some tusk shells. There's one right there in the middle underneath that seraph. Here's that big one. Let me see if I can get it. See it right under the lettered olive, right there. I'd say that's our second biggest one today. It's a pretty good handful of micro shells. So what I like to do when I'm not able to get them in the bag, because I only have two hands, is I'll put them on the beach, have a little circle, and here's that was that whopper we found right at the beginning. Look at that. That's a big old tusk shell. Probably put all these there. And if someone's new here, wait, go on, look at that. When I came back, there was a nutmeg down here. You have the lip, the aperture, the whorl, the spiral. Sometimes down south, now this is a pretty good one for here. I mean, they do get bigger, but as far as the color and the spots or the blocks of color, down south you can find them, like, actually they'll be brown. Just amazing. Block the wind, and let's try over here. Now I know I was out there facing this way, and I hope I had the camera set so you can watch me. Well, let's try down here at the end. See if I can find another one of those amazing little sand dollars. And it's something how this is the only spot. I mean, this is probably the best one. I mean, there are like some sporadic spots, but nothing like this where it's, I think earlier I said it's about 20 feet long. And I guess about 3 feet wide in a couple spots. So let's look here. I have to try and remember before I leave, see if I have some extra baggies, and I think I do in the backpack, so that I can collect some micros for Crafty Mama, the new projects she has. Okay, here's a juvenile fighting conch. Broken right there. That's how it was when I saw it on the ground. The question earlier, what do we use the shells for? And I mentioned our Etsy store. It is coastal inspired, the number 4, not spelled out, 4, and then the letter U. You type that into, I think there's only one like that in Etsy. Coastal inspired for you. And the shop back in December was actually named a top container candle maker. So that was pretty cool. All kinds of beach themed items to decorate your home. Okay, let me look. Right here is another dwarf olive. Let me grab that. I think I'm gonna get it. I think it's in there. Let's see. Yep, there it is. So that's a dwarf olive. Let's see if I can get it in my palm. I have no idea. But right there it is. I had to turn to look again. What's that? I don't know if that's a sand dollar right to the tip. But see the little circle in the hole? I think that is. Huh! That was so random, so accidental. So TT, if you have subscribed to the channel, let me go over here, and you go look at you watch some of the long form videos, you can see some of the affiliate links there. Let's set this again because I need to get at that bag. And I carry a backpack and shell bags. So let me set my glasses down somewhere. There's a shell bag. That's from earlier. Definitely not micro shells in there. Alright. I thought maybe I would have lost that micro. No, it's still there. I don't know if I can. I don't know if that was a sand dollar. Look at that. On my palm was dwarf olives. Let's see if I can show you that. Alright. So that bag is so white, I have to put sand on it, otherwise all of a sudden everyone will be like, it just blew out in the Gulf. So let's go back and see if we can find some more micros. Well, thank you, TT. I appreciate that. Look forward to seeing you out on the beach. All right. Now the sun's coming out. It's getting a little warmer. I bet you real feel has jumped above. What's this one? Jumped above 40. Oh, it'd be so nice to find little trap while y'all are here. Okay, let me turn. I want to show you this spot. Look at all the tusks in here. There are at least 4. And let me zoom in. See them all? There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. Actually, 2 of them there. There's another one. Those are tusk shells. Whew. Let me turn. Angelus is going to be scolding me, saying the wind's blowing. Alright, so right here, some fresh ground. Alright, sand dollars are related to urchins, and there is a sea urchin spine. A little worn, but that's what that is. You can find those in here. Oh, here's another one of those brown ones. Sorry, that was a little too fast to move. Again, I have no idea what that is. And I think it just rolled off. Yep. Oh, here it is. Oh, that water, it sounds like the surf's getting Getting pretty close. So many tusks in here. Let's look out here. Most of the time, I find these spots a little higher up, and I'm pretty soaked at the moment. I have a heavy jacket on. What's this? That's a painted egg cockle. Normally they're higher up, and I'll get, a little wet, but the sand down here is actually saturated. Let's move a little bit. And I'm surprised no one asked about shark's teeth. I wanted to see what this was. That's a sand dollar. I have not trained my eyes to find them. By my thumb, it's gonna blow away. Right there. So how about a stretch and grab that shell bag? TT was commenting on cured shells, etc. I'll show ya. So I have a couple in my pocket here. Here's a Scotch bonnet. These are beloved by a lot of people. They're fairly common on the Emerald Coast. Not saying you can find them every day, and our weather is changing. Not sure when the rip current warning goes out, but generally when you have rip currents, this is all going to go away. That's why I'm staying out here so long. We're almost at an hour and a half, but probably tomorrow and the next day it won't be as good. So these are interesting in that they have this hollow chamber here, and I have only seen one actually floating, and it was a little bit deeper than the net. Excuse me, but there was sand on this side and then a little tidal pool, and there was a bonnet floating in there. So that's pretty cool. So a tip for finding Scotchies, you can sometimes find them a little bit higher. So I missed something. I'm pretty sure I missed a whole bunch. Okay, here's oh yeah, the tide is coming in. Here's a lightning whelk. I think the Scotch bonnet is a little bit more common than these, but we found a really good spot today. Actually, the only spot around here. Now I see my pa texting me. He is not in a live chat. He is shoveling snow in the Midwest. All right, what's this back here? Okay, here's a Sozens cone. And let me see if I can get some sun on it. See those bars that go, or bands that go like that? Has a pretty tall spire. This one is a little smaller. Sometimes you can find them a little bit bigger. They're always a good find. Oh, and look at this one. All right, Ageless, you ready? I see you're still here. Woot woot! Look at that. that is a gem. Sometimes you'll get the little pimple there. There we go. The spire will be dinged, but that one's intact. I'm pretty sure someone's gonna say it looks like a spaceship, but that is a sundial. I think they're a little bit more common in the winter. I found several in the last couple weeks. One that was really big, like, you know, had some heft to it, fit in the palm of my hand. That one's a sundial. And I had a white baby ear, but I think I may have set that one down. I was getting some photos and I had a couple of the top, there we go. The top ones of the day in my pocket. Yeah, you got to be careful doing that too, you might break them. So this one is a white baby ear. A little bit flatter snail. Let's see what's in the shell bag. So TT, all of the names except for if you were around when I mentioned the spiral, all of the names I've given you today are the actual common names, of course not the scientific names. So the sundial is its actual name. That one's an egg cockle. Scallop. So when I get the bigger cockle shells, actually, I don't know, she could use this one, although that looks like a wreath kind of shell. She makes them into a beach or a water and ocean theme, and there'll be sand here and some shells, and then I don't know, I don't recall if she has candles, but she uses those. A ton of those in our centerpieces. The centerpieces, and I'm not sure. Here's that one I said, the spiral common auger. She's been commissioned to make a couple. There's a cone. Centerpieces. I don't know if we had a 6-foot one or not, but that sure takes a lot of shells. Merrick's. Spiny jewel box. I think that just about covers it, because you already saw that little shark eye. There we go, that's a different one. That's a prickly cockle. Alright, so I'm going to start cleaning up. I thank you all so much for being here. If you haven't already given a thumbs up, you can give a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Let's walk down here. Oh, there we go. Look at that. Sand dollar make you holla. You see that? Right there. Maybe. Alright. Y'all watch it. Don't run away. Oh, I see another one. There's another one out there. Let me go back and get my glasses. We're going to round out the live stream by walking down here and looking around. Let's see if I can get the wind to dry my knee. Ageless. Thanks for coming along. You have an awesome day. All right, let's go find some sand dollars. So right here, here's a sand dollar. Remember, looking for the keyhole. I see M-A-K, what is it, M-A-K-N-B-A-K. Good morning to you as well. Thanks for coming along. There's another sand dollar. Calico scallop. There's a sand dollar dove. Let's keep going here. Again, I mentioned I thought I should probably stand and move away from the surf a little bit. It seems like the surf is coming up. Look at this one. Look at the colors on that one. It's a beautiful scallop. Let's see if we can find another sand dollar. Oh, look at this. There's a shark eye. Nice. Let's see if we can find another sand dollar. There's one. Sand dollar, make you holla. Oh, look at that one. That one's a little bit bigger. Let me back up. You can see the disc right there. Even though I don't see, well, there's one person. I don't want to get too far from my backpack. Looking for sand dollars. Here's another one. Here's another one. Oh, there's one over there. Here's one. Had to be gentle. And right there, let me turn. Here's another one. Look at all the sand dollars we're finding right here. And here's a shell that is new to us today. Where'd it go? Oh, here's a cone. Okay, we found these. This is a dusky cone. But there was an Imperial Venus, and I lost it. See a person walking, they look like they're on a mission. Calico clam. Here's another sand dollar. Nice. Just because I got up and said, all right, it's time to stretch and maybe try and dry off. But that's all I see. So I'm looking, I'll let you look up so that you don't get dizzy. Okay, well, that seems like that's all of them there. Sand dollars are related to sea urchins, and what we are finding, TT, they are called tests. So just like you were in school, here's another nice one. T-E-S-T. And those are both calico scallops. So they're not shells, but they are great finds. Generally a bucket list item, although they are fairly common, especially when you're looking for the keyhole. got to be careful with them. And you saw that I put them in baggies, and I'm just, you know, gently carrying them like this. Every time I hear someone say, I vacationed in Florida and I found a couple sand dollars and put them in my pocket, I know where that's going. And they broke. Oh, look at this, orange. Nice. Right back up. Oh, it's broken. But I love finding orange. Orange on the beach. Let's see if another sand dollar washed up. I see something, but I think, oh no! So here's a new one today. A pear whelk. Oh, here's another sand dollar. So no, these are not anything we have found today. They're not alive. Now let me show you. Now color does not always tell you everything. My hat is in my eyes, so let me. All right. Color does not always signify whether this sand dollar is alive or not. But generally when you find them on the beach and they are white, this is the skeletal remains, TEST, a test of a live sand dollar. This is what you find on the beach. Now if you went out in the water, and I'm not going in the water, I don't even know if it's in the 60s. It might be like 58, 59. You'll find colonies of sand dollars still flat, but they have cilia. They look hairy. Oh yeah, the water's coming up, so I'm gonna have to clean up my spot. Look at here. And I always tell people, so someone will be like, so where's this spot? This will be gone. The Gulf reclaims its own. All these microshells, I mean, we might get some replenished, but as the surface coming up, this will all be gone shortly. So thank you, TT, for all your questions, your input, and of course, thank you so much for subscribing. Y'all take care. I have to clean up my little camp spot here and all the sand dollars and seashells. Let me set these down. I don't know. Let me see if I can do it. Let y'all get a view of the Gulf. I got my boots on. Y'all take care, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you back out on the beach.